guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled My Niece or My Candy. So, last night was Christmas. There is a huge age gap between me, 25F, and my siblings, so I have a niece that is only 10 years younger. So, she is a teen, but has always been spoiled rotten. Her mother literally often says, "No one is perfect, but Amber, fake name, is pretty close," in front of niece too. So I am used to accommodating my niece. We've done it a lot through her childhood. Luckily it has faded a bit through the years. In my country, on Christmas Eve we play a game with mystery packages that anyone can win. Often there's candy in them. Last night, we celebrated Christmas with my parents, my boyfriend, my one sister and niece, and then came the time for this game. By the end of it, I had won most of the packages, and most had chocolate and candy in them. My niece only won one, containing makeup wipes. She got pissy that she didn't win any candy, so I gave her a piece of some of the chocolate I won, before bagging the rest of my winnings with my Christmas presents to take home, not thinking more of it. We drank some coffee, talked and then prepared to go home. Then I spot my niece on the couch with her phone, munching on something. That's fine, I move to hug her goodbye, when she sits upright, starts nervously giggling and then push my bag forward. She had taken my bag, went through everything to find the candy, and was eating all my chocolate, and didn't even say anything or try hiding it. Mind you, she is 15 years old, not a kid. I asked her why she thought it was okay to go through my things and just eat my winnings, instead of just asking if she could have had a piece or two more knowing I would have said yes. Her answer was, "It's unfair, you won all the candy, and I live here." By now, my sister had entered the living room too, and all she had to say was, "You can't just go through your aunt's things without asking," and then turning to me and continues, "But you shouldn't just have put it away, when you knew she most likely wanted more." Again, mind you, she is only 10 years younger than me, and this was Christmas Eve. The house was drowning in food, desserts and candy all day, and I would have shared if asked. I have always shared when asked. I just won some candy by chance, couldn't eat all straight away and thought I'd save it for New Year's. But it has always been like this with my sister and niece, and I love them, I do, but I hate when they host Christmas. When my niece was 6, I had won some LED lights in the same game, and she wanted them. I said no and she cut them up with SICCORS. I really think my sister is raising a future too entitled Karen type, since she doesn't seem to grow out of it. The next story is entitled Ex-Wife Thinks I Am Cheap Because of the Car I Bought Her. I, 35M, am married to my second wife, 29F, and have a 16-year-old son with my ex-wife. 35F, our son lives with me and moved in earlier this year. Prior to that he was here Friday evening Monday morning since we had split. When my son was 13, we started looking for a 92 to 93 Mazda RX-7 to fully restore together, and we finished this car around midsummer. I've posted about this car before as he did get in a bit of trouble with it, but that's another story. I'm also quite wealthy, and my ex-wife is not. I only mention this as it's canon to my dilemma. I have an almost 24 car collection I've spent years putting together, however my primary vehicle is a 2021 Audi e-tron GT. My wife has a 2022 Porsche Taycan Turbo S. About 6 weeks ago my ex-wife totaled her car and sadly her insurance had lapsed. Luckily no one was injured. The big problem was she was unable to afford to replace the vehicle and this threatened her entire life. I loaned my ex my Audi and started driving my F350 in the meantime, sat down with my wife and started talking about what we could do for her. We decided to buy my ex-wife a car, something sporty, good on gas and safe. We picked up a 2023 Toyota GR Corolla and asked the ex to come over. She was extremely thankful at the time, and we thought all was well. Here's the problem. Apparently, she's been telling everyone that we took the cheap way out and couldn't be bothered to even buy her a decent car. Mind you, if you haven't seen a 2023 GR Corolla, please Google them because I feel I'm losing my mind. My mother has said it was a bit disrespectful of me to only spend $45K on a car for my ex, when I had no problem spending $200K on my wife's car and almost $50K on my son's. The next story is titled Sister Complaining About Free Bikes for Her Kids. My sister, let's call her Jane, has 3 kids. Her and her husband are on the more poverty-stricken side financially. The kids are aged 6, 9, and 15. Her mother-in-law, let's call her Molly, offered to buy the kids bikes for Christmas. Here is how the conversation went. Jane. OMG, Molly offered to buy all the kids bikes for Christmas, but she's a moron. Me. Ah, how nice. I know they really needed new bikes. What happened? Jane. She is so stupid and bought both the 6 and 9 years old's 20-inch bikes even though I told her what sizes they needed. She did not buy one for the 15 years old because my husband told her he did not need one. Me. Oh, well, the 9 years old can fit perfectly fine on a 20-inch. Actually, a lot of adults ride that size for BMX and stunts. Asterisk did not say but did think how the 6 years old will grow into it asterisk. Jane. No, she is such an idiot. These bikes will not work. I need to find new bikes for the kids. I need you to ask around and look for free bikes for their sizes. I cannot believe she would buy my kids' bikes the wrong size. Personally, if it was me, I would be grateful. The 6 years old might be a little small now but will grow into it. The 9 years old can ride that size just fine. The next story is titled Am I the A-hole for blocking my large drive with my car so my neighbors can't park there because they have no drive? I live in the UK where our houses sometimes can be wildly different even on the same street. That isn't the norm usually but due to post-war building etc. In some areas there's a mishmash. I have a drive which is quite wide, enough to fit 3 to 4 cars. I haven't bothered to build any walls or fences on either side since the property came basically gutted, which is how I could afford the house in the first place. My neighbors can reach my drive, front yard, I guess Americans would call it, on foot and quite easily, although there's a paved path on either side that acts as a boundary. The neighbor on my left has a small drive enough to fit 1 car and the neighbor on my right has a large fancy front garden but no drive. There are resident permits required to park on the road. Since I moved in at the start of 2018, I've noticed sporadically the neighbors would park in my drive. Since I could fit my own car and my girlfriend's car in there, I didn't mind. However, since then I think their 17-18-year-old kids have passed and they've bought another car, and I've noticed my drive is always full of their cars haphazardly parked, leaving no space for me or my girlfriend's car. It isn't a massive inconvenience to go and knock and ask them to move, but at the same time I feel like all courtesy has gone out the window at that point. I've asked them to be mindful, but their English is quite poor, and I've been treated a little abruptly. The lady who usually answers the door seems suspicious of me and can sometimes get argumentative with me, but her husband is a decent fella, and he often tells me he tells his kids to not take the piss. He's always at work though, so I usually deal with his wife. What I've decided to do now is park my car or my girlfriend's car at an angle so as to effectively block anyone from getting in. I've been doing that for a few weeks now, and every time I see my neighbor, the older dad, he puts his arm up and says hello. It makes me feel a bit crap because, to be honest, I wouldn't mind if just he parked there, just not his kids. His son came to my door last night. My girlfriend answered as I was in the shower, and he asked my girlfriend if he could please park in the drive. She said no, but both of us feel a bit crap over it. Comment said, not the a-hole. It sucks they don't have space to park their cars, but the way they use your drive you can't even park your own. Reclaim your space. If it's truly that important to them, they'll work hard to make a solution that allows them to borrow your space. Another comment said, not the a-hole. I live in the US, and where I live it would be weird to park in someone's driveway unless it was asked first and for few days, say because of getting yours paved. I actually can't imagine waking up to a random car in my driveway. The next story is titled You Really Enjoy Being a Jerk to My Colleagues and Our Guests? Here's some extra work for you. I work in the small hotel at a front desk. Most of the time, we do not have many customers who want a meal, so we don't have a full-time waiter. When we expect more than 20 people per meal, we call a waiter. When waiter isn't around here, we also tend the bar, wash and polish the glassware, serve food etc. Restaurant area is cleaned by anyone who does not have another work to do at that moment. In our working area behind the bar, we have a printed list of all the waiter's duties, including, but not limited to, washing and polishing all the glassware, cleaning and mopping the restaurant, cleaning the bar, taking out trash etc. It's worth noting that waiters are paid per meal, not per hour, and when all the guests finish their meals, the waiter just have to finish his duties and he is free to go. Their wage per meal is bigger than my wage per whole 8-hour shift. Our regular waiter, let's call him Jim, isn't in town for a month, so 2 of his friends are coming instead of him. Those people are a couple, let's call them Mike and Mia. They both came to work with Jim on a few occasions, when we had a large group, so they are familiar with the bar and dining area, and of course their duties. Jim has never complained about the work. He would always wash all the glasses and cups, and he always leaves the restaurant and the bar impeccably clean. But Mia and Mike obviously do mind doing their job properly. Last week, I found a dozen dirty glasses and ashtrays when I arrived in my afternoon shift. Mia worked that morning and refused to wash those dishes because she didn't serve the dinner last evening, so it's not her job. I told my colleague about that, and she told me that Mike refused to clean the floor a couple of days ago, and that she already told our manager about that. Our manager probably spoke with them, because we saw them both cleaning the floor after their shifts, but they didn't seem so happy about that. This Tuesday we had a group for dinner. They told us to expect them around 8 p.m. Mia came at 7 to set the tables. There was some delay, and when people didn't show up in 8.30, she tried to pick an argument with my colleagues. Why are they late? Where are they? It's late, can't you call them? Who is responsible for this? I'm told that dinner will be served at 8 p.m. It's 8.30. I have other things to do. Whose fault is this? A colleague of mine calmly explained that this is a hotel, not a jail, and that we can't call the guests to order them to show up immediately or else. But all of us were fed up with them at that point. The next day, Mike was doing the lunch, and Mia the dinner. Mike warned us that he has some appointment at 4 p.m. and told us that Mia will finish the dishes and the cleaning before the dinner. Okay, we don't care. Luckily, these guests arrived a little early, so he managed to finish almost everything, leaving only a few dirty glasses in the sink. He came to front desk to take his money, and then gave me a bill and told me, I sold a beer to some moron. I looked up and saw one of our regular guests sitting in the restaurant and drinking a beer. I mean WTF, this guest is really great guy. I can't imagine him doing anything that would provoke such a reaction. I almost lost my crap, but there were other guests in the reception area, so I just said, okay, see you tomorrow. Later that afternoon I took a tray and picked up every single dirty glass, cup, pitcher and ashtray I could find in the rooms and all around the hotel and put them in and around sink in the bar. There wasn't enough room in the sink. The look on her face when she saw all the dirty glassware was priceless, but she still had to wash and polish everything. We haven't seen them since then. I really hope that they will refuse to work when our manager calls them again. The next story is titled Worst Christmas Ever. We all know that guests are especially awful around the holiday season, but this year, they've thoroughly driven me up the wall due to the storm. Due to the power outage, I didn't get my hot breakfast. This is very disappointing and I demand compensation. Yeah, you know who else didn't get their hot breakfast? Everyone in town, including me. My brother made a reservation for the whole family, and my name is nowhere on it. Can you check me in anyway? And can we use his card on file to pay for it? No. You don't have any flexibility? Even though it's Christmas, and we've been driving for 11 hours? Are you insane? No. I see that the restaurant is closed due to a burst pipe. Is the bar open? I'm so sorry, I'm afraid not. I do have some alcohol in the gift shop, though, and you could have a seat by the fire in the lobby. We were looking for camaraderie. Talking to people in the bar. Celebrating the holiday. Getting drunk in public. But now, it's a ghost town. This is not the joyous experience we wanted. I get it. This is all super disappointing. We've had a ton of cancellations, on account of the terrible storm that has closed multiple mountain passes, and no one is happy about any of this. You think the restaurant manager is happy about the burst pipe? Because she's not. Neither is the executive chef, and, frankly, neither am I, so I hear what you're saying, but also, your day is going a lot better than mine, so go back to your room. FFS, people. This storm is impacting the largest number of people of any storm ever recorded. They're having power and roadway issues in Japan, and they're burning clothes for heat in South Dakota. I am genuinely sorry that this Christmas is so unfestive, but you have to realize that there are a lot of people who are experiencing genuine hardship. If you're staying at a resort with a closed restaurant, you're doing pretty okay, all things considered. The next story is titled Surprise Wedding. I work at a non-profit tourist-type place which can be booked for weddings, proposal photos, that sort of thing, as we are picturesque. Rentals are not the main reason people come to our location, just a side thing we offer. We are a tourist destination. I am the person who works the registration desk and books these rentals. I had a guy who wanted to book a surprise wedding. Who was it a surprise for? The bride, of course. The plan was to propose, then immediately walk her to another part of the facility and have her change into a wedding dress, in a public bathroom because we aren't set up for dressing before weddings, and maybe not even a dress she picked out, and walk into her own wedding with 100 guests waiting. I begged my boss to not let this happen, and there were too many things that could go horribly wrong, and this poor woman would have no say in any part of her own wedding. She might either initially say no to a proposal, then what do we do with the 100 guests? And I'm certainly not offering any refunds. Or she could say yes then rescind when she realized what was going on. My boss said to still do it if they signed all the paperwork and paid. The guy came in with several people, I'm assuming his family members, to do a walkthrough and plan this. A week or two goes by with me getting emails from vendors about his event for alcohol and things. I was leaving voicemails and emailing him repeatedly that he needs to actually sign paperwork with me and pay as he has not reserved anything with us yet. At that point, anyone could take the date still and he should not be contacting vendors or paying anything with them at this stage. It is inappropriate and I'm the venue he hasn't booked. Then I get him on the phone finally like 2 weeks after he came in person, and he says, "Oh, I thought someone would have called you. We won't be needing the space." So I gave it to one of the other 4 people calling me about that date. I do not know if she caught wind and shut it down or even if they are still together after that stunt. What was the reason he wanted to do this? They had some relatives not doing so well health-wise and he wanted to speed up the marriage process so they could attend, but didn't talk to his would-be fiancé turned same-day bride about it beforehand. The next story is titled My Uncle's Girlfriend. I, 17F, have an uncle who started to stay with us 4 months ago as my mom prepares to buy a house and move out while she leaves the caretaking of my grandma in his hands. But what we didn't expect was for him to bring his longtime girlfriend Petra, not her real name, along. Anyway, I hate Petra. Okay, I don't hate her, but I definitely cannot stand to be around her. Why, you ask? Because she's ducking messy both in terms of personality and cleaning habits. Like she's always drunk, likes to yell in the middle of the night about how much she hates my uncle, cheats on my uncle, why he hasn't left IDK, argues with my uncle when he's around, talks crap about me, doesn't take out the trash and smokes all the ducking time. She's been sleeping on our couch in the living room, and I swear that place has become a pigsty with random clothes laying around, half-eaten food and cigarettes laying on the table and everything. Oh, and the best part, she likes to steal stuff from my mom like hair product, jewelry, clothes, makeup, anything she likes she'll take it. I swear I'm getting tired of having to clean up her mess. And what's even worse is that she became fast friends with my entitled grandma, and so now I always deal with having them talk crap about me and make up false crap. Like they tried claiming I like to being walked in on while naked, which is false and ducking creepy. I'm trying my best at this point to keep it together until I graduate and go to college, because I swear once I get an acceptance letter I'm out of here. I always thought living with my grandma was bad enough, but no, it's only gotten worse with Petra here too. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.